Struggling with prop firms? Let's go. So, obviously, welcome everyone. I'm going to be using GU for the example. I want to focus on now currency pairs with the very tight spreads. So, we're going to be applying, structure, trend, volume, whatever you want to call it. Before we do go ahead, I want to give a huge shout out, props to one of my students in the one-to-one elite mentorship. This student here recently joined as well. And he made about 3k in 4 days. Passed his challenge in 1 day as well. First payout with only 2k in drawdown. Huge congratulations. So yeah. Obviously link will be in the video description. If anyone is still struggling, you've been at this for years, and you can just come in and it's a community of almost 1600 members now, and live trades, winning trades, losing trades. In all transparency, I don't post that much anymore as I used to. I just get busy now, but I still obviously try to throw in, but again, it's all about transparency. So I mean, even if you come to the welcome page, right, let me just trying to show you guys that the guy you're watching, how he can benefit you, and at the same time, what I'm doing and what I'm showing is of the edge that I'm showing is of real value, and how you can and it will really help you. So here, just passing phase 1, risking 0.5%, catching a 1 to 15. And I don't think this has ever been done. And I believe this was my second trade of the account. And I'm always showing start small. Don't start with these 200k, 100k accounts. This was 2 prop firms passed in 1 day. Again, 0.5%. This was one of the students obviously on the FTMO leaderboard. He's 400k funded. This was a live trade, 1 to 22 risk to reward. And this was a funny trade as well. It came to my break-even point. Still held to, because I just obviously had belief in my edge, and then just anyways, it's all here, guys. It's all here. Anyways, coming back to the point. It's okay. Let's get the video started. So, without wasting any time, even though I know someone was gonna say, yeah, you wasted time at the beginning, but just wanted to give the props where it's deserved. The way people actually is making a difference for people. Anyways, so okay, so we've got a bullish trend on GU. It's a no-brainer, right? Until we get this breakout here. Now, you guys tell me, are we moving down, or are we moving, maybe up again, or at this? I'm speaking about this area over here. This area, right? When we get this breakout, are you gonna start taking sells? Are you gonna, what's the thought process? At this, from this point, leave it. Why? Okay, yeah, there's a breakout here. Now I know there's gonna be trendline traders. Now I don't know, obviously, because I'm not a trendline trader, so I don't know exactly, what how you'll be taking the entry. But from the basic and foundation level, like when you get this breakout, you wait for price to come back up, wait for ejection, and then that would be a losing trade anyway. But this is why I don't obviously trade trend lines. It's not for me. I'm not saying it doesn't work. It doesn't work, but obviously it's not my cup of tea. Anyways, so it starts moving sideways, right? Now, the best thing you can do in a moment like this is you just wait for it to give you clear direction. Now, just because you got the breakout, this is not clear direction, guys. You want to apply trend. You want to apply volume. Look at the volume. Look at the candlestick patterns. Look at the candlesticks, the sizes. Look at the trend direction. Look at the quality of the trend. Look at the strengths. These kind of things play a part. So let me just delete this. I don't know where this has come from. Then eventually, and the way I like to show, obviously, look at this. Ooh, let me just get the marker. So we've got this high over here, higher lows. We've got this high, then we've got a higher low here. So if we're not breaking resistance, we're not creating new lows. What do? You just wait until this over here we get our first, and this is why they say the trend is your friend. The first time, look at this, price breaks through, now comes down. Now what do you think? Now this is where people go wrong. Once they see this breakout, beautiful breakout, super strong bullish candle, they assume they need to go for a buy either straight away or once it comes to the zone, right? Well, it's all bearish candles. Why on earth would you be thinking of going for a buy, right? It's all bearish candles. Let it establish yourself. Look at this. You're telling me you're gonna go for a buy just because it enters the zone. You gotta. This is. Let me just bring myself in. This is why it's super important. You gotta wait for some kind of a confirmation, right? What would the confirmation be in this case? Let me just break this down. So we've got a new high now, right? Now someone's going to say, yeah, we've got these wicks over here, we've got this wick over here, this is not a new high. Let me break this down. It's the first time the candlestick bodies have closed above this zone. Where, look at this beautiful engulfing candle, if you want to call it, huge bullish candle. You know, it's showing, and look at this. See, this is why I don't sell from resistance, this is why I don't buy off support. You see this fake candle here, this, look at this. This is a super strong long wick rejection bearish candle, telling sellers, telling people, take a sell, take a sell. And what happens? You get absolutely slaughtered, right? You get absolutely slaughtered. Breakout, price comes down, then you wait for some kind of signal, and the signal is this engulfing bullish candle. There's even a bullish engulfing candle over here as well. Price just heads up from there. Now once it does that, obviously, you know, you could have taken here, but this would have been the better one, right? Because this one is below the zone, this one is above the zone. Again, bullish candles that happen below resistance, no value. The ones that happen above resistance, better value. So price just heads up from here. Now again, I can refine this to the T. Should we actually do that? Look at this. This is actually, look at this. Watch this. You see what I mean? Resistance, breakout. Now it's acting as support. Price heads up, and then a 1 to 6. That's phase 2 past. That's phase 2 past. Right, on a 50k, 10k, 5k, I don't care what size the account is. That's phase 2 past. That's if you catch this, right, and 6.5%. You need 1.5% to pass phase 1. And that's why you see me passing these challenges. So I'll get, obviously my edge is different. It is still the break and retest, but obviously the way I refined it, obviously I take into consideration volume, I take into consideration trend, I take into consideration these things, because the way I was giving an example to my students as well. The trend is like a river, in, you know, the direction of, if someone said to me, you know, it's simple, right? You can even ask a 5-year-old, if you came to a river, oh, which direction is the river flowing? Simple, like, is it going left, right? You know, is it going north, east, west, whatever? You know, just like that. But it's trading is much more simple. Which direction is the trend going? Up or down? Simple. So you can do, oh, well, sideways as well, but clear. You want to look for clear trend. So I trade more currency pairs, because obviously not everyone's going to be trading every single day. And then number 2 is volume, right? If you look at, again, look at a river. Every river has its own pace of current, speed of current. Just like that, how much volume is in the trend? What is the strength of the trend? Tsunamis, that is, you know, they got the most volume. If you want to look at it, you know, and some streams are just very, very calm and relaxing. Obviously, they got low volume. But in trading terms, low volume, I would rather stay away from those trading instruments for the time, you know, obviously for that temporary moment. Anyways, so we got 1 to 6 over here. Now price changes direction. Now does this mean, now obviously you can start at this moment here for a short period of time. Where's it gone? Where's the tool? It's funny, I'm always struggling to find these tools. So now we are bearish. Remember, temporarily we are bearish. We've also got a ugly head and shoulder pattern. For those who don't know, well, you should know. These are indicating bearish signals. Let's highlight these, and I'll change the color of this so it just stands out better. Not the best quality head and shoulder, but it is. Don't always look at how it looks, you know, on Google, and it's never going to look exactly like that. Perfect. So price heads on its way down. We are breaking these structure levels here. Clear bearish, right? Now clear bearish structure, I'm trying to say. Then obviously price continues pushing further down until this breakout again for trendline traders. Or let's look at this. Look at this. See, this is where all strategies work, and I'll tell you why. Because pretty much they're all just fancy terms, but pretty much everything works the same. This trendline breakout for another trader who's got a different strategy, for in terms of me, or even support resistance traders, it was just a break of support and then it acted as resistance and headed way down. In terms of trend line, it just broke the trend line. See, it's all similar. It's got, they've all got their own ideologies and fancy names and all that, but it's all similar. That's why all strategies work, but it just comes down to the individual, what strategy suits your personality the best. Anyways, let's hop on, because I just want you to focus on the charts. So what happens is we're just moving sideways now. Now look at this. When do you actually need to get back in? When you need to get back on the horse? Well, you guys tell me. Now, obviously, the way you identify volume is going to be different for everyone. You know, obviously, you want either lots of bullish candles, clear though, right? Clear. One example is over here, but I believe this was CPI news today, and yes, it was. So let's just say even you were traded with this here, right? Volume here. Look at this. Now, if again, I'm just going to bring myself in. If someone says to me, or if someone says to me, you know, how is this volume? You know, it's sometimes I get these questions, right? And it's like, again, this is one of the reasons why I don't work with beginners in my mentorship. And I'll always ask, you know, how much experience you have, because I will not work with someone who is. I'm very selective who I work with. Look at the candles compared to these candles. Very simple, right? It's not rocket science. Now, again, we still want to be careful, right? You still want to be careful. So if I just have to break this down, watch this. Highs over here. We've got obviously. Ooh, I don't know why I just lagged a little. Just draw a bit cleaner. Over here, draw some of this one, and now watch this. First of all, let me just clean this up and delete it. By the way, hit these little likes, subscribes, comments, everything. If you're finding value. Now look at this. Very, very simple. Very, very simple. Breakout, price comes down, boom, shoots off. It's not rocket science, people. Again, obviously I'm using a different time frame. It's not the time frame I draw my zones on. But I just drag this one across now. Again, it's those people that call this a high. You see something? Those that call this a high candle bodies themselves. You see something, right? You see how it all works? I don't know. Anyways, price just heads off, and you got a huge. I mean, let's just break. Let's say we just take some entries, right? I mean, look at this. Super strong bullish long with rejection. Why on earth would you be thinking of taking out sales of resistance if you're this close, bullish, this strong? Look at this, how perfectly rejects that resistance. And I understand, you know, this is why. From all these videos I show, and you know, again, I still get so many messages in my Discord community, you know, and it's like they just want to learn super quick. The videos are not enough, I guess, you know, but it is what it is. You know, I understand. I used to work 12-hour shifts, well, 16-hour shifts, to be honest. It used to take me 1 hour to drive to work. I used to do CCTV for the police. I used to take me 1 hour drive to work, 1 hour drive back. That's 2 hours there. 12-hour shift, that's 14 hours. And then if you're doing like what, obviously I'm not going to go to sleep straight away as soon as I come home. I'm going to stay a little bit awake, and then 1 hour obviously to get prepared, and then go to work, eat something. 16 hours in total, right? Long days. This kind of method what made me profitable in the beginning, and then obviously I just refined the break and retest later, but this is more than enough to make me profitable as well. Markets always change. This was obviously a few years ago when I applied this, but still, what someone's going to show you in a course regarding the break and retest and all the strategy, this is going to be by far the most simple. I've brought majority of the courses out there, people. Trust me when I say it will help you. Just back test it. Don't take my word for it, actually. Just back test it. Right? Look at this. So let's draw some of these out. Volume, trend, overall trend at this point I admit is bearish, but then, you know, we start breaking structures. Volume again, volume, break. It's cool. It's cool. What are you still catching over here? A 1 to 4. 100k account, that's 4 grand. 200k account, that's 8 grand. Almost phase 2 past. Yeah. I think that's enough for today. It is quite late. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. If you're still struggling, message me in the Discord community. It is me, by the way. Sometimes I get these weird messages thinking, oh, is it actually me? And they want to jump on a call. Why would it not be me? Why would it not be me? And then sometimes I even jump on a call just to prove that it is me. It's crazy. But yeah, Link will be in the video description. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, comment. I hope you find value. Even I hope you don't even need to come to the Discord community, right? I hope you just find value from this and you make yourself it work for yourself. You know, take care.